असांजो मंथली वेबिनार जो जेको सिलसिलो असां स्टार्ट कयो आहे सेना जे प्लेटफॉर्म तां। सेना यानी सिंधी इंजीनियर्स ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका, जेका सना जी हिकिड़ी प्रोफेशनल कमेटी आहे। मुंहिंजो नालो आकाश के राम आहे ऐं आउं सना जो फाइनेंस सेक्रेटरी बि आहियां ऐं सेना जो वॉलंटियर बि आहियां। असां कोशिशि कयूं पिया त मुख़्तलिफ़ प्रोग्राम जेके आहिनि, सेना कोशिशि करे पई त मुख़्तलिफ़ प्रोग्राम खणी अचे पई। हीउ उन्हनि मां हिकिड़ो आहे प्रोग्राम जंहिंमें वेबिनार्स हर महीने अरेंज कया वञनि था ऐं स्पेशली उन्हनि टॉपिक्स ते कया वञनि था जेके हिन टाइम ते या फ्यूचर में ॾाढो माना रखनि था। ऐं जेका प्रोसीडिंग आहे सेशन जी, उहा इंग्लिश ऐं सिंधी ॿिन्ही लैंग्वेजिस में आउं कंसि ऐं जंहिंमें जेको कंफर्टेबल हुजे। ऐं असां उमीद था कयूं त हिते जेके जेके बि हिते माण्हू आहिनि, दोस्त आहिनि, उन्हनि सभिनी खे इंग्लिश बि सम्झ में अचे थी ऐं सिंधी सम्झ में अचे थी। ऐं आउं तव्हांखे थोरो डिटेल ॿुधाईंदो हलां अॼु जे सेशन में। सभ खां पहिरीं इंपॉर्टेंट ॻाल्हि इहा आहे त असांजो जेको हीउ सेशन आहे उहो रिकॉर्डेड आहे ऐं रिकॉर्डिंग खां पोइ उहो असां मुख़्तलिफ़ सोशल मीडिया ते पोस्ट कंदासीं त जीअं फ्यूचर में जेके स्टूडेंट ऐं जेके बि इंस्पायर्ड आहिनि उहे हिन मां फ़ाइदो वठी सघनि। सभिनी दोस्तनि खे गुज़ारिश इहा हूंदी त एडमिट थियण खां पहिरीं पंहिंजो नालो जेको आहे पूरो उहो उन में लिखनि। मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम आईफोन या सैमसंग या अहिड़े क़िस्म जो नालो नज़र ईंदो आहे। असां उन्हनि खे एडमिट कोन कंदा आहियूं सेशन में। दिस इज कंट्रोल सेशन, सो दिस इज बीइंग कंट्रोल एंड रिकॉर्डेड। सो उन खां पोइ असां जो जेको फॉर्मेट ईअं हूंदो त पहिरीं कुझु इंट्रोडक्शन ॾींदुसि, पोइ असांजो जेको सेना जो चेयर आहे साईं इकबाल तरीन साहब, उहो अची असांखे कुझु हिन प्रोग्राम जे बारे में ॿुधाईंदा ऐं उन खां पोइ असां स्पीकर खां स्टार्ट कंदासीं ऐं एंड में असां क्वेश्चन आंसर जो सेशन कंदासीं। असां काफ़ी स्टूडेंट्स खे मैसेज ॾिनो हो जिन असांखे काफ़ी सारा सवाल ॾिना आहिनि। उहे सवाल बि जेके आहिनि ॾाढा इंपॉर्टेंट पहुता आहिनि असां वटि। उहे बि सवाल असां कोशिशि कंदासीं। हीउ सेशन असांजो पूरे 1 कलाक जो आहे ऐं असां कोशिशि कंदासीं त सभिनी जो टाइम इंपॉर्टेंट आहे त असां हिन सेशन खे कलाक जे अंदरि वाइंड अप करे छॾियूं। हाणे सभ खां पहिरीं जेको ॻाल्हि आहे त असांजो जेको ही टॉपिक आहे सस्टेनेबिलिटी, उन जे बारे में असां ही छो आहे। असल में असां जेको जंहिं दौर में रहूं था उहो ॾाढो एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी दौर आहे ही, जंहिंमें तमामु घणी एडवांसमेंट थिए पई। एडवांसमेंट खां अलावा जेका सभ खां वधीक इंपॉर्टेंट शइ आहे उहा आहे त स्पीड ऑफ एडवांसमेंट। उहा अनप्रेसिडेंटेड आहे। मतलब एतिरो तेज़ी सां तरक़ी थिए पई, एतिरो तेज़ी सां शयूं तब्दील पियूं थियनि, टेक्नोलॉजी ऐं नयूं नयूं शयूं हर रोज़ अचनि पियूं। तव्हां इमेजिन कयो त 2010 ताईं जेको दुनिया में डेटा अवेलेबल हो, माना ह्यूमन हिस्ट्री जॾहिं खां स्टार्ट थी आहे ऐं अंटिल 2010 ताईं जेको बि दुनिया में डेटा अवेलेबल हो, असां उहो डेटा 1 खां 2 ॾींहंनि में हाणे पैदा पिया कयूं। माना एतिरी स्पीड में अची आहियूं। टेलीफोन जॾहिं नओं ईजाद थियो हो, उन वक़्तु टेलीफोन खे 75 साल लॻा हुआ 100 मिलियन माण्हुनि ताईं पहुचण में। 75 इयर्स। जॾहिं इंटरनेट आई त उनखे 100 मिलियन ताईं पहुचण लाइ सिर्फ़ु 7 साल लॻा। ऐं जॾहिं AI आई त उनखे सिर्फ़ु कुझु महीना लॻा। त माना चवण जो मक़सदु इहो त गुज़िरियल 5-10 सालनि में एतिरी एडवांसमेंट थी आहे जेका पोयंनि 100 सालनि में बि कोन थी हुई। सो हाणे आउं हिन टॉपिक असांजे जेको चेयरमैन आहे सेना कमेटी जो, साईं इकबाल तरीन साहब, उनखे आउं इनवाइट कंदुसि त साईं अची थोरो सेना जे बारे में ऐं हिन प्रोग्राम जे बारे में कुझु ॿुधाइनि त जीअं असां प्रोग्राम खे अॻियां वधायूं। साईं इकबाल तरीन साहब।
महिरबानी तव्हांजी आकाश, तव्हांखे मुबारक हुजे। ऐं असांजी जेका टीम आहे सेना जी, उनजे कोर ग्रुप खे मुबारक हुजे। उनमें जेके एक्टिव दोस्त आहिनि, ख़ासि करे हिन सॼे सेशन खे ऑर्गेनाइज़ करण में, उनखे सपोर्ट करण में, उनमें मुस्लिम बुर्दी आहे, बदर शेख आहे, आकाश आहे। आकाश तमामु घणे तकलीफ़ खां कमु थो वठे। मां भायां थो त गुज़िरियल ताज़ो लखनऊ जो दौरो करे आयो आहे, तमामु घणो तकलीफ़ खां कमु थो वठे, त मां वॉलंटियर आहियां। He is more than a volunteer. He is a very important member of the committee and the whole leadership. ऐं तंहिंखां पोइ ॿिया असांजा दोस्त आहिनि जेके हिन कोर ग्रुप में आहिनि। सभिनी जी महिरबानी ऐं उमेद आहे त हिन जज़्बे खे क़ाइमु रखंदा। सेना सिंधी इंजीनियर्स ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका हिकिड़ी काविश आहे त जीअं सिंध सां तालुक़ रखंदड़ सिंधी जेके पाण खे सिंधी सम्झनि था and they're proud that they're Sindhis. पोइ उहो कहिड़ी बि ॿोली ॻाल्हाईंदा हुजनि, कहिड़ो बि मज़हब हुजे, कहिड़ो बि रंग हुजे, they're all welcome. ही open platform आहे. This is actually an open heart, open arms platform. मेंबर सिर्फ़ उहे थी सघनि था सेना में जेके सना जा मेंबर हूंदा. ही सना जी काविश आहे. असीं शुक्रगुज़ार आहियूं सना जे ईसी जा जंहिं इहो फ़ैसिलो कयो त असांजी हिन ख़्वाहिश खे अमली जामो पहिराइनि ऐं उन्हनि मूंखे इनवाइट कयो त आउं हिन कमेटी खे लीड कयां. मक़सदु छा आहे? मक़सदु आहे जीअं आकाश चयो त टेक्नोलॉजी तमामु ज़ोर सां वधी रही आहे. तमामु नंढिड़ो मिसाल तव्हांखे ॾियां त जॾहिं स्पेस ते यूएस स्पेस में विया ऐं चंड ते पहुता त उन वक़्तु जेका नासा जी डेटाबेस ऐं कंप्यूटिंग पावर हो उहो तव्हांजे ऑर्डनरी स्मार्ट फोन में आहे. ओतिरो जेका तव्हां हथ में तव्हां खणी स्मार्ट फोन था हलो, एतिरो ई इन खां मथे कोन हो कंप्यूटिंग पावर. त एतिरो एडवांसमेंट थी आहे गुज़रियल 20-25 सालनि में ख़ासि करे. असांजो मक़सदु इहो आहे त इंजीनियरिंग जे नॉलेज खे, इंजीनियरिंग जे प्रोफेशन खे असीं डेमोक्रेटाइज़ कयो ऐं सेना जे प्लेटफॉर्म ते मुख़्तलिफ़ दोस्तनि खे असीं गुज़ारिश कयूं त हू तव्हां सां ॻाल्हाइनि. असांजो हिकिड़ो स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम बि आहे जंहिंजे प्लेटफॉर्म ते असां रिसेंटली 22 स्कॉलरशिप्स जेके आहिनि उहे महाराणा यूनिवर्सिटी जे स्टूडेंट्स खे अवॉर्ड कयूं आहिनि ऐं उमेद कयूं था त असां इन काविश खे जारी रखंदासूं. पर सभ खां पहिरीं ॻाल्हि इहा आहे त ॾिसो, ज़रूरी न आहे त सदियूं लॻनि कंहिं क़ौम खे तरक़ी करणु. जेकॾहिं तव्हां टेक्नोलॉजी खे एडॉप्ट कंदव, जे तव्हां इंजीनियरिंग खे एडॉप्ट कंदव, जे तव्हां इनोवेशन खे एडॉप्ट कंदव, जे तव्हां AI खे, मशीन लर्निंग खे ऐं मुख़्तलिफ़ टेक्नोलॉजीज़ जेके आहिनि उन्हनि खे एडॉप्ट कंदव ऐं पंहिंजी ज़िंदगी जो मिशन बढ़ाईंदव त तव्हां ॾिसंदो त ईंदड़ 15-20 सालनि में सिंध ऐं तव्हां ज़ाती तौर ते, तव्हांजूं फैमिलीज़, तव्हांजा मिट माइट ख़ुशहाली ईंदी, तरक़ी कंदव ऐं दुनिया जे अंदरि सिंध जो नालो जेको आहे ऐं सिंधियुनि जो नालो तमामु वॾे सुर्ख़ियत सां लिखियो वेंदो. पर इन जे लाइ महिनत करणु तमामु ज़रूरी आहे ऐं आउं तव्हां सभिनी खे आजियां कयां थो ऐं उमेद कयां थो त तव्हां पैशन वांगुरु, जज़्बे वांगुरु टेक्नोलॉजी खे, इंजीनियरिंग खे एडॉप्ट कंदव, उनजे जाखोड़ में महिनत कंदव. महिनत खां सवाइ ॿी का शइ मुमकिन न आहे. तव्हांजा लख अहसान, महिरबानी. ऐं मां हाणे गुज़ारिश कंदुसि आकाश खे त प्रोग्राम खे मॉडरेट करे. आकाश.
थैंक यू सो मच साईं. इहे साईं असांजा साईं इकबाल तरीन साहब तमामु सीनियर इंजीनियर ऐं सिंध लाइ पाण पतो ॾींदड़ सिंधी इंजीनियर्स लाइ ऐं सिंधी माण्हुनि लाइ ऐं सेना जा चेयर बि. हिन प्रोग्राम खे अरेंज करण में असांजे तमामु घणनि दोस्तनि जूं काविशूं शामिल आहिनि. उन में असांजे सेना जे कमेटी जा जेके मेंबर आहिनि उहे सभु, आऊं हिते ॾिसी रहियो आहियां त असांजा 2 कमेटी मेंबर मुस्लिम बुर्दी साहब ऐं बदर शेख बि आहिनि ऐं ॿिया मूंखे शायदि नज़र कोन पिया अचनि हिते ऑनलाइन. पर उन्हनि जेके ऑनलाइन कोन आहिनि उन्हनि जूं वॾियूं महिरबानियूं जेके हिन प्रोग्राम खे असांखे साथ ॾिनो ऐं ख़ासि तौर ते साईं मुस्लिम बुर्दी साहब जो ऐं बदर शेख साहब जो जेके हिन प्रोग्राम सां गॾोगॾु आहिनि, महिरबानी. हाणे असां टॉपिक जी तरफ़ हलूं था. टॉपिक खां पहिरीं असां जेको आहे स्पीकर जे बारे में आऊं कुझु चवंदुसि. हा, अॼु जो टॉपिक ॾाढो इम्पोर्टेंट आहे. उन जे बारे में सभु शयूं जेके आहिनि असांजो स्पीकर असांखे ॿुधाईंदो. पर हिकिड़ी ॻाल्हि जेका मूं हींअर किथे ॿुधी हुई ऐं मूंखे ॾाढी सुठी लॻी. दिस इज़ नॉट जस्ट एन एरा ऑफ चेंज, इट्स अ ट्रूली अ चेंज ऑफ एरा. इहा ॻाल्हि मूंखे जॾहिं मूं ॿुधी त मूंखे माना हिकिड़ो ॾाढो ज़बरदस्त ॻाल्हि लॻी त माना असां हर वक़्तु चेंज त थींदी रहे पई, इट्स अ नेचुरल प्रोसेस. पर ही जेको एरा आहे उहो आहे चेंज, डिफरेंट आहे, टोटली डिफरेंट आहे. हाणे टू स्पीड अप इन दिस टाइम असां डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स खणी आया आहियूं ऐं उन्हनि में असांजो जेको पहिरियों टॉपिक आहे उहो इंजीनियरिंग कैरियर्स इन एज ऑफ सस्टेनेबिलिटी। दुनिया में तमामु घणो हले पियो। उहे जेके टॉप 8 जेके टॉपिक्स आहिनि दुनिया में, जेके तमामु घणो अॼुकल्ह फोकस में आहिनि, ही उन्हनि मां हिकिड़ो आहे। आऊं हाणे इनवाइट कंदुसि असांजो जेको स्पीकर इंजीनियर नासिर अली, जेको असांजो की नोट स्पीकर आहे, असांजो SME आहे, सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट आहे हिन ते। उनखे आऊं चवंदुसि साईं अचनि, पंहिंजी कैमरा ऑन कनि। ऐं उनखां पोइ हाणे साईं नासिर साहब जो थोरो इंट्रोडक्शन आऊं तव्हांखे ॾींदो हलां। साईं नासिर साहब जेको आहे शिकारपुर में ॼाओ प्राइमरी ऐं हाई स्कूल तालीम उते हासिल कयईं। उन खां पोइ मेहरान यूनिवर्सिटी मां इंजीनियरिंग इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग में 2004 में पास कयईं। 2000 बैच हुई। उन खां पोइ साईं मुख़्तलिफ़ मल्टानेशनल कंपनियुनि में, जर्मन कंपनियुनि में, अमेरिकन कंपनियुनि में, पाकिस्तान में रहियो, पोइ मिडल ईस्ट में 2010 खां पोइ मिडल ईस्ट में दुनिया जी तमामु वॾी कंपनियुनि मां हनीवेल हिकिड़ी आहे, अमेरिका जी कंपनी। साईं उनजा 2 दफ़ा प्रेसिडेंशियल अवार्ड विनर बि आहिनि। उनखां अलावा साईं पंहिंजो पाण खे हर वक़्तु अपडेट रखंदा अचनि था। तमामु घणी सर्टिफिकेशन्स कयूं आहिनि, तमामु घणियूं नॉलेज आहिनि। ऐं तव्हां इमेजिन कयो, अमेरिकन कंपनी में मिडल ईस्ट में वेही करे 2 दफ़ा प्रेसिडेंशियल अवार्ड खटणु तमामु वॾी ॻाल्हि आहे, तमामु फ़ख्र जहिड़ी ॻाल्हि आहे। आउं बि मेहरान यूनिवर्सिटी जो शागिर्दु आहियां, त मूंखे इहो ॿुधाईंदे ॾाढो फ़ख्रु महसूसु थो थिए त अहिड़ी कंपनी में, अहिड़े टफ प्लेस ते असांजो सिंधी वञी उते 2 दफ़ा प्रेसिडेंशियल अवार्ड खटे, उन कंपनी जो तमामु वॾी ॻाल्हि आहे। त ॾाढी फ़ख्र जी ॻाल्हि आहे। त साईं नासिर अली साहब वटि तमामु घणियूं सर्टिफिकेशन्स आहिनि, जेके अॼु जे दौर में तमामु कारआमद आहिनि, जिन में CEM सर्टिफाइड एनर्जी मैनेजर आहे। उन खां पोइ लीड जे GA आहे, या उनखां अलावा ISO सर्टिफिकेशन्स या काफ़ी सारियूं आहिनि। ऐं साईं खे दावत ॾींदुसि त साईं अचनि ऐं पाण अची पंहिंजे हिन टॉपिक जे बारे में ॿुधाइनि। ऐं पहिरीं असांखे ॿुधाइनि त हीउ टॉपिक हुननि छो सेलेक्ट कयो, हिन फील्ड खे छो सेलेक्ट कई, एंड देन दे ही कैन कैरी ऑन। साईं नासिर अली साईं।
Mute. Now on mute, I think.
अदा
Akash?
सभिनी दोस्तनि खे आउं ॿुधाईंदो हलां त ही सेशन जेको आहे असांजो रिकॉर्डेड आहे। ऐं सेशन जे एंड में असां क्वेश्चन आंसर कंदासीं। ऐं जेको बि ही सेशन अटेंड करण एडमिट थियणु चाहे थो, महिरबानी करे पंहिंजो नालो, फर्स्ट नेम लास्ट नेम उन में लिखे, त जीअं असां हुनखे एडमिट कयूं। अननोन नाले खे असां एडमिट कोन कंदा आहियूं। जी नासिर साहब।
Thank you, Akash. I hope तव्हां ॿुधी सघो था मूंखे?
जी थोरो आवाज़
It's
हल्को आहे,
clear.
थोरो अगरि थोरो वधीक थी वञे
Okay.
त बहितर आहे।
Yeah, I will try. मैं आज कोशिश कंदुमि त मुंहिंजी
नाउ
आवाज़
इट्स गुड,
बेहतर आहे, थोरो sore throat
नाउ इट्स
शायद.
गुड।
Apologies in advance. But uh, allow me to thank you and Sena and Iqbal Saab, because it's a great opportunity मुझे लाए. But I want to refer जेको इकबाल साहब शुरुआत कई, जेकी motivational and inspirational aspects I highlight किया. And this is what we need as professional on the ground. Sai, like inspirational leaders and such motivational guidelines helps us a lot. And from it's a proud to be coming from Sindh and Shikarpur. I sharing our experience and knowledge. This is one of the aspects that असां सभई जेके आहियूं, being part of Sena or professionally sustainability practitioners, giving back to the community तमाम important आहे. जीअं साईं इकबाल तरीन साहब चयो त equally important to develop ourselves, but then also keep sharing the knowledge and experience to serve back the community in Sindh. Uh, I'm so impressed what Sena has been doing, Akash and the team and Iqbal Saab. And it's a privilege, honestly, for me to join in a group to be part of it. So again, thank you so much, Iqbal Saab, Akash, and the whole Sena team. Um, so मां तो इंग्लिश में वधीक जेको आहे स्टार्ट कंदुमि, छो त मोस्ट ऑफ द टर्मिनोलॉजीज़ जेके आहिनि उहे टेक्निकल्स ऐं क्लैरिफिकेशंस जे लाइ. But before I begin, as Akash mentioned, let's make it a bit interactive. Like we would love to know who is joining from where and what is your field maybe, and whether you are a student or a working professional. You can quickly drop this in the chat. इते chat में तालिकी सगो था simple नालो किथां था join था क्यों. It will be interesting to see the diverse background and different locations people are joining here. उहे जेको help out कंदो and will mention their names during the presentation. So beginning now, so today's session is slightly different from typical webinars or technical webinars you may have seen in the past. This is not about software, one tool, or one specific technology. Um, it's also not a job-oriented session. It's an awareness session, as Iqbal Sahab mentioned, and Akash in the start. This era is of the change and digitalization and different advancement is happening globally. So we thought to select this topic for an awareness for the engineers in different from coming from different industry and the background. So it's about a career direction and engineering in the rapidly changing world. Um, and let me give you a quick map of the next 40 minutes or so. We move through these three sessions. I have simplified for the sake of clarity what we are going to cover in this session. The first will be the challenges, starting from the context. We understand that our engineers are facing a lot of challenges these days, especially in the developing countries and the regions. And then we will go to the opportunity part where we'll focus more on what is sustainability, what are the mega trends, and what's going on globally, and where the demand is actually coming from for the engineers. The third path will be your practical roadmap, the career tracks, the certifications, where to apply, and most importantly, what your first step looks like starting today. Or if you are in the mid of your career professional experience, then it will equally help you out. Some of the slides we have um, developed for mixed type of attendees. I can see some of the attendees are coming as like fresh graduates, and some are students, and some are mid of their career. And in the end, as Akash mentioned, we'll close this with the question answer session. We already have received some of the pre-registration questions. We'll address them and invite more maybe if time allows. And um, so let's start from the section one, the challenge. Is most of the attendees and our focus also is to support back home in Pakistan, and especially for Sindh and Sindhi engineers. Um, before we talk about the opportunity, we need to be honest about the reality. And the reality is that what is actually happening currently in the developing countries, and especially in our region. So let's start with the basic, but very important question. What is sustainability? I know this slide is full, but I will try to simplify it for the sake of clarity and have an awareness, because one of the objective of this session and the whole program from Sina is to spread the awareness. People come on aligned and come up to the speed of what's going on globally, especially when we talk about sustainability. And and I will simplify in a simple terms what is sustainability. Because this word is used every year, but often not clearly. This word is being used in media, in many places you might have heard this. Sometimes it is not very clear what exactly is sustainability. In simple words, sustainability means using less energy, reducing cost, and protecting the future. And if we go to more deep level, it is a balance of three things: people, planet, and prosperity. So it's just not about environment. It's about how we build systems that allow economies to grow without damaging the future and the future generation resources. So as an engineer, you sit right at the center of that question. Now, here is why this matters to you as an engineer. Um, Today, our planet is already about 1.2 degree warmer than pre-industrial times. You may be hearing about the global warming, climate change, and all. The scientific fact about it is that after this industrial revolution, we started seeing these emissions and global warming keep increasing, and the impact kept increasing. If I give you a high level numbers, in just 1 year, the world emitted around 37 billion tons of CO2. This shows how massive the challenge is and why urgent action is needed. And more importantly, related to our today's focus also, around 40% of global energy use and emissions comes from the buildings where we live, we use. And who designed these buildings? Who operates these systems? Engineers. So you're not outside the problem, you are at the center of the solution. So this is the message we want to give you when we understand sustainability and how it relates to you. It directly relates to us. And we as an engineers have a lot of responsibilities because all this infrastructure, whether it is greenfield, new construction, or built environment, the emission coming from them is significant. And this is where we can play our role. And before going to the opportunity part, what I want to highlight from the opportunity part, International Energy Agency project that US dollar 5 trillion per year in clean energy investment is needed through 2030. What does it mean for us? This is a hiring forecast. The question is not whether there will be jobs. The question is whether you will be positioning yourself to fill them or not. So following these global trends and facts what's going on, in our times, we were lacking about these facts and what's going on, global trends and all. But today's world, everything is on a fingertips. You can know what's going on globally, what's coming up in next 5 to 10 years. So before going to the opportunity, let's go back to the challenges subject that I mentioned our engineers are facing, regardless of where, in what stage they are in today. And also the fresh graduates are concerned and worried about what will happen when they graduate and they come into the professional domain. So I want to speak honestly about something most webinars may skip over. The engineering job market in Pakistan and across many developing economies is genuinely difficult right now. And this is not a perception problem, it's a structural problem. And I want to name it clearly because assuming or pretending otherwise doesn't help anyone, all of us in this room. On severe job shortage, graduates significantly outnumbered available engineering roles, industrial slowdown and limited private investment and frozen hiring in many sectors. The result is widespread unemployment and unemployment among engineers who are genuinely capable. So it's not about your own capability, so don't blame yourself. Sometimes it's the circumstances we are living into. And this is important when you're planning your career path and all, to keep motivate yourself, to keep optimistic about what's coming up instead of just having this impression of all the problems you are seeing today. And I will mention these famous 7 habits of most effective people about instead of blaming the circumstances and the circle of influence, we should focus on what we can do as an engineers, for example. But also highlight the other issues of skill mismatch. At the same time, employers are asking for skills that most universities are not yet touching. Sustainability, energy management, digital systems, ESG reporting, these are new requirements. But the challenge is our academics and the curriculum, old curriculum looks like not aligned with the latest development we are seeing speeding up globally. So that gap is closable, but only deliberately. So on the states, research data shows that somewhere 60 to 70% of engineers in some developing countries are seeking overseas opportunities, not because they want to leave, but because local market cannot absorb them, cannot afford them in terms of adjust them in the current economic situations. And less than 8% of roles currently sit in emerging green tech sectors in developing economies, though the number is growing fast. So important for us to know is, I'm not sharing this, by the way, to discourage you all, but I'm sharing this because engineers who navigate this well are those ones who make deliberate choices about how to respond. So what is way forward for us from now onward?
Nasir, before you move ahead, like you said that there are about 70% of skills already transforming, like you said. Can you give me any concrete example, like what does mechanical, electrical, or civil engineer already know that directly applies to this?
Yeah, good question, Akash. And this is what I will cover also in my next slide. But to answer this particular question, um, what we see now is uh, that the 60 to 70% is about the skills you already have in terms of uh, what we are seeing now in that electrical engineers or know about the power system infrastructure, and mechanical people or mechanical engineers know about the HVAC and different systems. So the so that is like the backbone of what we are seeing the growing percentage, Akash. Akash, to
Yes,
proceed,
yes,
or you
I
have a
got it.
question?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Um, so now the challenges, this is like a simple pivot. The challenges are real. I just named them plainly, but there is what I have learned working across the region for over 20 years. Every structural challenge creates a structural opportunity for the people who see it early. And for every challenge, there is an opportunity. And this is how we will cover in going forward. The pivot from traditional engineering to sustainability is not a career change, it is a career update. You keep everything you know, you add a layer of sustainability knowledge and credentials on top, and you become significantly more variable in a market that is growing 3 times faster than the market were trained for. Section 2 is about the opportunity. Let me show you where the demand is actually coming from. Let me change the screen. Can you see this going to the next section, Akash?
Yes, we can see that slide, section two, the opportunity.
Okay. Okay, so the opportunity part, let me show you where the demand is actually coming from. And this is the slide I just try to put it here. We were discussing myself and Akash about the technology, the upcoming topics from Sena about digitalization, about different technologies coming up. And as an engineers, our focus has always been onto this. Um, but now let's take a step back and reflect on something very important, all of you, for the future engineers. When we look to the today's trending topics, this all AI, fintech, robotics, cybersecurity, these are all extremely important and they are shaping the future. But there is the key insight I want to you to carry with you from today. All these technologies are tools. Sustainability is the purpose. Everything you see on the left, AI, automation, smart manufacturing, digital systems, these are what you will learn as an engineer and you will get an experience. However, we must absolutely master these tools. I mean, there is no doubt on that. Whether you are electrical, mechanical, civil, or from IT background, these technologies are essential every field today. But these are the skills you build, the capabilities you develop, and the platforms that enable innovation. So let me give you an example, a real life example, and make it relatable. Uber, we have been using since many years, is not just a taxi company. It is built entirely on technology. AI, data analytics, GPS, automation. But the real purpose of Uber is not the technology itself. The real purpose is solving a problem, human problem, making transportation easier, faster, and accessible for millions of people globally. So, in the same way, as an engineers, we do not just learn the technology for its own sake. Yes, it's critical, it's fundamental. We have to do it ultimately. But this should not be the only focus. And we see this is like an old tradition of just focusing on one particular technology and the system and spend our whole life on that. That will not give us the growth opportunity, and especially in this challenging and competitive industry that we are living into. It's a global village. We know we are competing with different countries and different people. So, what makes this webinar today different? Our session today is different because we are not focused on just one technology. We are connecting all technologies to a bigger purpose, solving real world sustainability, climate related challenges. And from the career angle point of view, what does it mean for you as an engineer? Your future is not defined by just what you learn. It is defined by how you apply it. So this awareness as a human, as a professional, as an engineer is super important. What changes, what problem I'm able to solving, what value I'm adding uh, for my organization, my community, myself, and the world. This is something that we are learning day by day happening. That visibility is important for us. That awareness is important. The linkage of the technology, the advancement, and um, the solution we are, the problem we are solving, and the value we are adding wherever we are. So highest demand careers today combine deep technical skills with sustainability impact, and the combination is rare. I know. I mean, it's we are seeing this in other regions when we travel. But in our region, we see there is definitely a need of identifying and highlight this aspect to um, bring up us on the knowledge from the aspect of how we as an engineer, how these technologies are helping, and what is the impact of all this advancement and where the world is going. For us, it's a sustainability. It's a broader term, but of course, um, it's critical. Our aim to become an engineer who the engineers who are using these powerful tools to solve real problems are the real differentiators, the difference makers, and um, successful engineers these days and next many years. Now, on global demand acceleration, as I mentioned in my previous slide about, we know that from economic point of view, the investment, the money going where, and International Energy Agency already publishes report where they are highlighting that this $5 trillion every year in clean energy investment, this is a significant number, and we should understand the impact of it for us as an engineer. This is not a charity. This number, this huge investment will, and the capital looking for engineers to deploy it grid. What it will include? It could include grid modernization, clean energy infrastructure, building efficiency retrofits, and all of it require technical people, engineers, and the demand is not theoretical, it's funded. And from a skills transferability point of view, and I would like to emphasize here at this point that we hear a lot of anxiety about whether existing engineering backgrounds qualify for this space. Up to 70% of what you already know as an electrical, mechanical, and civil engineers maps directly to sustainability roles. You are reorienting. You're not starting. You're not going back. The system. This is the system thinking, the load analysis, the project execution. All of it uh, transfers. What you add is a sustainability lens and one or two targeted credentials. I'm talking about the GCC clean energy transition. The GCC specifically has committed to 50 gigawatt of clean energy capacity by 2030. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar are in an active race to decarbonize their economies while maintaining growth. That creates an enormous demand for us as an engineers. And this is why we emphasize on skill and knowledge and certification, because GCC is definitely has been and will remain one of the growth market for us as an engineers, regardless of from what background we are coming from, electrical, mechanical, and all. And from global opportunities perspective, it's not limited to GCC. What we are seeing now, mature markets like Canada, North America, and these they are already mature, they are already adopting, and they have on the policy level, on the law level, all these best practices of sustainability, decarbonization solutions, and growth strategies. So where specifically should you focus? Let me show you the 8 sectors driving these career growth. So the real demand is coming from, and there could be some other aspect, but these are the global mega trends where the real demand for us as an engineers, job opportunities and career pathways are coming from, and this is important for us to understand at least the basics. I know there are some participants coming from the university students and fresh graduates who are just exploring where to go, what exactly we should focus on. I would suggest these are the core 8 areas where you just think of where is your interest, not necessarily on particular one or two, but think of it, which area is more aligned with your interest and where you think that you can enjoy your profession and also grow on the same time. I will give you just a quick brief on each box. And I discussed with Akash that each of this trend is itself is a topic. It itself need a dedicated webinar. It's a big topic and important that includes technology and advancement. But because a short time in this call, limited time, I will try to just clarify the concept behind this each trend happening. So on a net zero buildings part, the single biggest sector for sustainability engineers globally. Building account for 40% of global energy emissions. GCC alone is retrofitting thousands of buildings. If you understand HVAC, automation, BMS, building systems, electrical system, this is your most direct path in. I'm now addressing the fresh graduates, especially here. And we have seen practically, and I will share in my next slides, we have seen in last 10 years, huge growth and consumption of demand of thousands of engineers coming from different countries of GCC, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Philippines, especially the GCC, Jordan and all. There is a slide dedicatedly on this particular item. But then the second biggest item, and where I've been involved also, is energy efficiency and demand side management. This is often underestimated, especially in our region. But efficiency is the fastest and most cost-effective decarbonization lever. Energy service companies, ESCO retrofits, performance contracting, massive demand, and the skill map almost perfectly to electrical and mechanical engineering backgrounds. I will cover this also in my next slide. But quickly talking about the ESG and corporate sustainability, every major organization is now committed and they have sustainability strategy. Talking about all multinational companies globally, because they have to register for this trading and they have to disclose their ESG report, their commitment, their targets. It's a mandatory non-financial report for all these major global players, and especially if I talk about GCC, all listed companies are now increasingly mandated to submit their ESG report. So there is definitely a demand on this part as well. In terms of for us as an engineers, if you are interested in a track where you are more interested into the numbers and commercial part or reporting or environment, this is your area. And smart cities and digital IoT, we know digitalization, as Mr. Iqbal mentioned earlier, digitalization is everything in the future, and this will remain the priority enabler for this all growth and initiatives. Now, let me go deeper to one aspect, that is the net zero buildings, and where we have seen practically on the ground lots of job openings and filling in last 10 years or so, and will keep going on. And the key driver for the net zero building are the commitments of net zero, decarbonization. Some of the regions, especially in Saudi Arabia, the giga projects, it's mandated to have like their infrastructure has to be LEED certified, green building certified. So lots of initiative going on in GCC region where I'm involved. I will share my some reference examples as well here. So net zero buildings, as I said earlier, is the single largest career opportunity for sustainability engineers right now. And this is a takeaway for you all to just note it down, research about it, think about it, have a deep dive focus on this area, because this will open up for you multiple type of roles. And for the roles and organization, the slides is coming up next. So from the definition quickly, net zero building produces as much energy as it consumes on an annual basis. It gets through four layers: passive design, orientation insulation, glazing, reducing the baseline load, then high efficiency system, and then optimized HVAC system, and then finally coming to the on-site renewable PV and solar thermal to cover remaining demand. and finally net energy accounting to verify. So idea is not to go to the deep technical, but to give you the flavor of this is a specialized field, this is the specialized area where I encourage attendees here to focus on. And this will cover also this global standard we call LEED, Mustadam, BREEAM in UK and other regions, LEED in USA and Saudi Arabia, Mustadam. So different regions have different standards asking for green building, net zero buildings requirements. Now, this slide basically is about energy efficiency and the demand side management. And it's not a technical or a theoretical slide. This is a real world example. And I will first clarify looking the sustainability in practical terms. It's about reducing energy use, lowering cost, and cutting emissions, and increasingly creating new jobs. And we can clearly see this through real example. These are like, I personally been involved into this particular domain. So I feel excited when I see there is a lot of opportunities for our engineers to develop their skills, because this is a successful business model. We call it energy saving performance contracting. And the word you see, ESCO, is energy service company. So it's like the government initiative, like in Saudi Arabia, Tarsheed is working under government umbrella, and they are financing the projects targeting reducing the electricity consumption, energy consumption into the government buildings. And we have seen a lot of success behind this in terms of multi terawatt hours of and billions of Saudi riyals saved, thousands of jobs being created in last 5 to 7 years only. And the career role created because of these business models has been energy engineers, auditors, HVAC retrofits, and ESCO project market. In Dubai, there is an Etihad ESCO. In United States, mature market, this model has been there. Across all these examples, the impact is consistent. Lower energy consumption, reduced emission, and cost saving. And these initiatives are creating new career opportunities for engineers, from HVAC optimization, energy audits, to smart systems and data analytics. So sustainability is no longer just an environmental topic, and not just saving the energy. It's creating an entire new engineering economy and becoming a major career pathway for engineers. Now, so this brings us to the third and final section, the path.
Nasir, before you move forward on this slide, when you were talking about the engineering careers on these fields, now, तव्हां इहो असांखे ॿुधाए सघो था त कहिड़ियूं कहिड़ियूं अहिड़ियूं जॉब्स आहिनि जेके असांखे ख़बर ई कान्हनि? फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, मूंखे यादि आहे जॾहिं मूं ग्रेजुएशन कई हुई त सिर्फ़ चंद अहिड़ियूं जॉब्स हुयूं जिनखे असांखे ख़बर हूंदी हुयूं त असां SDO थींदासीं, XCN या कुझु शयूं। बाक़ी दुनिया में हज़ारे ॿियूं अहिड़ियूं जॉब प्रोफाइल्स हूंदियूं जंहिंजी असांखे ख़बर ई कोन हुई। त तव्हां कुझु असांखे ब्रीफली ॿुधाए सघो था त स्पेशली विद रिस्पेक्ट टू मिडल ईस्ट, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ आवर स्टूडेंट्स हू वांट टू गो अब्रॉड, so for them it's going to help a lot के कहिड़ियूं कहिड़ियूं jobs इन फील्ड सां रिलेटेड अवेलेबल आहिनि मार्केट में, ऐं कहिड़ियूं कहिड़ियूं जॉब्स जेके नियर फ्यूचर में क्रिएट थींदियूं रिलेटेड टू दिस, एंड व्हाट आर अवेलेबल जॉब्स राइट नाउ इन मिडल ईस्ट?
Very important question. Thanks for highlighting, Akash. Exactly. The broader prospect I am share the next slide, particularly on this slide where I was mentioning about energy retrofit. हिते तव्हां ॾिसो त ट्रेडिशनली पाण जॾहिं ग्रेजुएट थियासीं ऐं ग्रो थियासीं, एज़ यू सेड, असां वटि छा ऑप्शन हुया? के AC ज्वाइन कयूं, अपडेट ज्वाइन कयूं, या प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जॉब कयूं, सेल्स जी या प्रोजेक्ट्स जी हेॾा होॾा. This business model that I'm calling as energy saving performance contract, ऐं इहो तक़रीबन 10-12 सालनि खां हिन रीजन में इंट्रोड्यूस थियो हुयो. हिते डिमांड अचे पई एनर्जी ऑडिटर्स जी, एनर्जी इंजीनियर्स जी. एनर्जी इंजीनियर्स, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर भी एनर्जी इंजीनियर थी सके थो, इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर भी एनर्जी इंजीनियर थी सके थो. एग्जैक्टली आहे छा एनर्जी इंजीनियर? बेसिकली एनर्जी इंजीनियर और ऑडिटर is someone who do the audit. It's like a doctor of a building who just test and check the building systems and measure the performance of anything and everything consuming energy, and is able to identify inefficiencies, for example, in the buildings, and also is able to identify the opportunities to remove those inefficiencies and save energy. Now this is a specialized field. And energy lie, but you required on the one. Although it's in the next slide, but I'm just trying to answer to you. Specifically for energy engineer auditor, demand pero bhi hane bhi hai GCC mein. Well, the only thing the engineer should do is to first have a certification, a course, or skill development in terms of what exactly is energy engineers. Uh, Association of Energy Engineers from USA offering these trainings, courses, certification courses like certified energy auditors, certified energy managers. And Garogad, practical experience. Practical experience means I know in Pakistan through मात्र active ना है यो sector, but असां पाण करे सघूं था असां जे यूनिवर्सिटी में आहियूं हिकिड़ी बिल्डिंग सिलेक्ट करे पाण प्रैक्टिस करे सघूं था लेट्स पंहिंजी बिल्डिंग आहे those skills are important to be able to at least 1 to 2 year experience in Pakistan, have the certification, then I'm sure you will have definite opportunities in GCC region to move from there and come as an energy engineers and auditors. Beside other roles mentioned here, Akash, I'm not talking about those or maybe more advanced level, but looking to the attendees here, more of fresh graduates or starting career, I will highly encourage electrical, mechanical engineers, especially to utilize their knowledge and experience of HVAC power systems and upgrade themselves with the energy engineer, energy consultant positions, because this will continue growing this market. This will definitely keep bringing the demand for engineers from NGCC.
हिन सां गॾु हिकिड़ो सवाल ॿियो अटैच थिए थो. I don't know if it is the right time to ask you this question, but the question is, how much uh, are like fresh engineer or mid-career level going to be paid for such jobs in Middle East? Do you have any figures or?
As you know, Aka, difficult question, right? Depending on the experience, the knowledge, and all. सब क्या पेड़ होता है? Let's talk about the reality, not theoretical. Visa खपे दा company को visa मोकले या पाण हिते हो जाऊं तो GCC में move करना है. ठीक है? If you are talking about asking me about the GCC markets, so the, to answer that, from the salary point of view, initially मतलब इतनी attractive ना होती है, but it's all about experience because theoretical knowledge is not enough as an engineer. जिन्हें पाण शुरू किया से graduation, पाण छा किया से practical experience वरतो से, वया से industry में internship कई से, training कई से. Same goes equally important now as well. Experience return. For example, let me give you a real example of Tarshid or Itihad Isco. They are under government umbrella, but there are more than 40, 50 commercial ESCOs hiring energy engineers, energy auditors every day. I see it's full. If you go to the LinkedIn career page, there is definitely demand there. Salaries are good, of course, if you compare to our region, but initially, if you are coming here, the first year will definitely you have to prove yourself and grow. But I can assure you there are a lot of opportunities. You can move from one organization to another organization. I have seen so many engineers came here in 2 3 year experience or from different background, um, uh, develop themselves energy engineers. So now they are getting a very healthy and good packages. But I will not be able to give you exact numbers. But in Saudi Arabia and Dubai, I can give you a careful number. It's floating between 10 to 20,000 reals and dirham, maybe, depending upon your experience, the knowledge, and of course, how you present yourself during the interview and during the qualification stage, Akash.
Thank you, Nasir. You can continue.
Thank you. Now, going to this section 3 path, everything we have covered so far was context and landscape. And I think this is going to be interesting for most of the attendees looking for the path. And I see some questions coming up in this direction. What is the path and what we should do and all. And this section is yours to take away with action items and more. I just summarized here the tricks. There can be many ways to explain the roadmap, but my own experience, I discussed with Akash and what I see in this market, we think that there can be three potential tracks and pathways for our engineers, the engineers, and from Pakistan, especially if I talk about. And this is like a practical, but I'm not sharing with you anything from the theory or from here and there. These are the real lesson learned for us on the ground. And when people say sustainability career, it can sound like one thing, but it is actually three very different types of work. And I want to walk you through each because one resonates with you will shape which certification you pursue and which companies you should target. Technical track means where most engineers start, of course, and we have to start to just practice and not just the theoretical part, but the practical technical expertise part. This is hands-on world, energy audits, building automation, commissioning, ISO 50001, energy management. Um, you are on site, you are reading meters, analyzing data, designing retrofits. The core certification here are CEM and ISO 50001. I'm just giving this as an example. Don't take it like these are the only certifications because I have personally got this certification and I'm just relating my experience on this slide. But it's like a hint for you if you are starting with this technical break, this kind of skills and certification you may target. And of course, for fresh graduates entry, junior energy auditor type of roles and opportunities in GCC, ESCO companies are there, have been there and will remain there. The interesting aspect that also is important I wanted to highlight is a commercial track. Not necessarily as an engineer, we'll spend our whole life into the technical track. If I'm commissioning engineer, I will remain 30 years of my life of as energy commissioning engineer. Not necessarily. We believe that the commercial track is where engineering meet business. ESCO business development, sustainability finance, carbon credit markets, ESG advisory, sustainability strategies. You're talking to clients. In the commercial track, I'm also covering sales, marketing, business development roles as well here. It's not just commercial means commercial or finance only. Here you're facing the clients. And this is one of the premium approach if you want to grow in the multinational companies. If you have the background and solid technical knowledge and you are just developing your commercial skills, there is no one can stop you to go to the highest level of that the organization. I'm talking about the top organization. They encourage. And why they encourage, I have seen like many examples, like somebody was technical expert and then he just transformed himself as a business development or a strategic business manager. And he's because customer respect the people who understand the realities, the technical knowledge. It's like exchange of knowledge also during the engagement with customers. If you are targeting some multinational companies, technology providers, they encourage. So I highly encourage people to also think from diversification or moving from not just the technical, but the commercial track here as well. And Akash asked about the packages or salaries. I can assure you, if you're combining the technical knowledge and entering into the commercial, is significant. It's amazing packages I have seen. People are being going multiply by two, double packages as well. On the role they were getting. Why I'm saying this because you are being offered a position where you are basically acting as a advisor or acting as a reason. I mean, the resource for the organization to grow their business. And also nowadays, you see a lot of events are happening. You're coming on the stage and you are just presenting your knowledge and experience and connecting with the businesses. So for fresh graduates, can enter as a sales engineer or a project coordinator at an energy consultancy company, for example, energy service company. You learn the business side while staying close to the technical content. That combination becomes very powerful within 2 to 3 years. And finally, just quickly about the advisory track is where you shape your strategy, sustainability consultant, grid building advisors, net zero leads, all these certifications are there, but these are more on the experience side. Once you cover these two parts, you are able to act as a consultant and advisor for on behalf of the customer, on behalf of your organization. But for fresh graduates, it may be a challenging aspect. I would prefer to start as a technical commercial and then go to the advisory. This is more practical approach rather going directly to this approach because advisory consulting roles require you to have enough knowledge and experience on the ground to be able to help your organization and your company. So
Nasir, I have a
yeah,
question here.
please.
I know you have lived all those three tracks. You have been into there. You have lived really, and you have worked on those three. So, Can you tell us which one of them was most easiest and which one was most challenging for you to be in those tracks?
Honestly, Akash, commercial, I would say, because you remember in 2004 when we graduated, what we did, and especially equally important today as well. When you graduate, what we used to do, we have to find a job. We have to find a job, not just also to practice our knowledge and experience, to earn money for our family, to grow. We whatever jobs comes in front of you, and then you see that there is a challenge, especially for us, um, uh, coming from university that are not being well respected or being categorized as a class A. Then the linkage of your practical experience with your degree is super critical. So technical track is natural way, but I would say the commercial is was challenging but rewarding as well. When I was in Siemens, I was offered a role to support the business development team, where I develop my skills of presentation, communication that I'm still doing now. But the idea is to mention like the discussion of like return of investment, the value addition, the growth strategy. You need to align and support the organizational strategic business growth role. So I see commercial track has been challenging but rewarding as well, equally, Akash.
Before you move to a next slide, I'm sorry to interrupt you here again. We have received a lot of questions now regarding the pathways, the certifications, the knowledge areas, the skills required for each and every. Give us a little bit more insight on this.
Yeah, this has come will be covered in the next slide, Akash, if you allow the certifications.
Okay.
I just have a dedicated slide because this is critical. When I'm talking about the opportunities, when I'm talking about developing skills and tricks, the most important thing that we all have to do is continuously keep have to do, especially the fresh graduate, is to develop their skill by getting certifications, the desired certification. So this coming up in the next slide, but after this slide in sequence, yes. So allow me to continue this, and then I will go to
Mhm.
certification, Akash,
Okay.
because this is continuous to the previous slide I was mentioning and to relate to your question, Akash. Um, because we are here, they all engineers, and I want to challenge the belief that holds many engineers back. The belief that technical people have ceiling, that beyond a certain level, the leaders are MBAs and the engineers stay in the on the site, on factories, on backgrounds. This is simply not true in terms of sustainability. In fact, this is opposite. And I have seen this in GCC region, and you have seen Akash and many people in traveling other regions. Engineers not necessarily to spend whole their life into the technical and on site on somebody working on background. You can be a leader, and this is why I personally motivated with this belief of energy. And engineers can only be the successful business leaders. And looking at the left side, this is the path of most of you are in the technical or senior engineering level. That is exactly where this journey starts. The pivot points, the client-facing commercial role. Um, the moment you start speaking to clients about outcomes, not just outputs. From there, business development manager, account director, and then GM, C level. I've seen engineers make this full journey, and I have lived part of it myself. And you earn respect more because you are basically completing the whole circle, like not just part of the one aspect of technical project deliverables, but the growth strategy for your organization, the value you're adding to your customer, the problem you're solving for your customer. You become a leader. You talk about strategy. You talk about challenges. You talk about growth strategies, for example. So this is why we have to think of be, coming up as subject matter experts. What is subject matter expert? In particular field, yes, it is important for you to spend some years, for example, 5 to 10 years in certain field, and then grow yourself to go to the next level, not just to just live as a specialist engineer or project engineer, technical engineer. Um, and so there is one more age that engineers have in commercial roles. As I said, the SME, subject matter expert advantage. When you stand on a conference stage or you sit across from a client, your technical depth creates instantly credibility and the trust that no consultant who is not technical, who is just theory guy, cannot create an impact. So big organization, multi-organization love to position their subject matter experts in their deals, in their communication, in their projection, whether it is stage, because we are speaking the language of board to the boiler room. And this is the message I wanted to give one of in this that think big and make it happen. It is not something um, impossible. It's always challenging is the starting phase. Yes, develop your technical skills and certification that I will cover in the next slide. But think big. The world is big, and there are opportunities. Not let you down. But the challenging part I see as a human is challenging our comfort zone. The comfort zone, or call it blaming the circumstances only, and not doing what I can do is my um, in my control to develop my skills. And developing his skills, the best way is certification, of course, but of course it requires a lot of studies and knowledge gain and all. I have listed down here, and this is an answer to your question also, Akash. These are some key certification, and allow me to clarify, these are not the only certifications, but these are the one that I personally got have seen in the GCC market valuable, result oriented, giving you opportunities, giving you growth strategies, promotions, moving from one organization to another organization. So, and I'm talking about the sustainability domain here, and 8 mega trend that I presented in the previous slide. So just quickly going through the CEM. What is CEM? Certified Energy Manager from Association of Energy Engineers, is the single most recognized energy credential globally. It covers auditing, measurement verification, energy efficiency projects, recognized in over 150 countries. So just see if you are CEM, the world is open for you. If you have a 5 to 7 year experience, you are CEM, just open the LinkedIn, open the job portals, and you will find hundreds of jobs waiting for you. It's all about your own efforts, skills, and of course, luck as well sometimes. Lead AP, lead certification is also well respected. It's the US Green Building Council global gold standard for the green buildings. And some BD plus C or different categories are there for new construction and existing buildings, for example. Equivalent to lead AP is Mustadam in Saudi Arabia and Istadama in UAE. Basically, these are the standards followed in these regions to make sure the building is being constructed is following the best practices of the energy efficiency, emission reduction, to call it as a green building. For the commercial advisory certificates, GRI, of course, is on a higher level part. GRI is basically is a reporting initiative. It's maybe for the experienced people. Just to simplify for you is boards and investors now require it. Engineers who understand GRI standard can bridge the gap between technical data and boardroom data. Basically, all these multinational companies and big companies release their reports annually. They follow GRI standard. And of course, GHG protocols to calculate emissions. ISO 50000 is about industry, specifically for industry, for energy management system. It's like ISO quality management system. And this is more of the technical part. But here is my simple advice. If you are a student or fresh graduate, start with the CEM, start with lead green associate, and also couple it with some practical experience. Just don't wait for any opportunity. Just join some organization who are somehow related to this field, whether it is HVAC company, electrical company, whatever, and then get the CEM. You will get a big picture about energy efficiency, about energy management and all. Now, this is also important, and we were discussing that many of the attendees will be interested to know which organization they should target more. I listed down here 20, but there are more, but for the sake of reference, and you may search similar companies. But in recent years, we have seen lots of opportunities, job opportunities being opened and closed in this particular organization. We try to put in different silos here for the clarity part for you to just list it down depending on your interest. If you are interested in a global technology provider on the left side where I belong, um, um, there definitely are a lot of opportunities. Call it Honeywell, Schneider, Johnson Control, General Electric, and all these companies always have demands in different regions. And these energy engineers, energy auditors, energy consultants, because the projects, the business they are getting from their customers are asking for these particular outcomes, and they need skilled people and certified people to join the organization to qualify those big business and projects and programs. GCC, the infrastructure companies you have been hearing about, NEOM, New Murabba, Diriyah, Qiddiya in Saudi Arabia, GCC projects, especially the giga projects, a lot of demand for the people who have certification that I covered in the previous slide. Of course, Saudi Aramco, SABIC. I'm just naming it here for you. Just decide of your interest. Where is your interest? Are you interested to join a multinational technology company? Are you interested to join infrastructure energy company for the mega projects? Or you want to more interested in consultant? This is also interesting aspect. The green building and the design, where this Arup, WSP, Mott McDonald, and this. If you want to work on net zero buildings, design and engineering, these are the firms where you go. The strongest is presence across all four. And of course, Big Four, all these top consultants, but they need more experienced people. So this is like for reference for you. But my takeaway for you is just take note of it, and make a list of similar companies. Follow them on LinkedIn. Be active on LinkedIn, by the way. Set your job alerts. Engage with the sustainability professionals from these organizations. And instead of using other social medias, I highly encourage you to remain active on LinkedIn. I will share my QR code just to join, and it's rewarding, not just for the job, for the knowledge, for the business markets, what's going on globally. It's a very good platform for all of you to join, and I'm sure most of you are already there. So, and now the most important slide of this session also was we got some questions before this webinar, and we tried to just compile some information. When before I hand over to Akash, considering majority of attendees either are fresh graduates or students, um, I want to speak directly to where each of you actually is right now, and not in 10 years. Today, this week, what you have to do. This is critical. The column one, just graduated. If you have finished your degree, don't wait for the perfect job. And this is what I do say to my close friends and relatives, that this one mistake we do sometimes, that we just have a very micro level um, demand or need, that if I get this job, so this type of job, then only I will join. If I get a government job, then what we encourage you, immediately after your graduation, immediately take a job, whatever it is, then you think of moving or going to the next. Take any role, either not necessarily energy, building system, electrical, mechanical, whatever is it. FM company, MEP contractor, any company in Pakistan, you can join them. Even subcontractor company, I personally give suggestion to my fellow colleagues and to join subcontractor companies, where you practically get an experience on the ground, on the site, implementation, execution of the projects, maintenance and all. But for the students still studying at university, you have something genuinely valuable, that is time and access. ASHRAE students membership is free. The CEM study guide is free, available on the Google. You can just search and find it out. Build LinkedIn now, not wait for the last day of your graduation. The day you graduate, you already have the visibility. You already have the awareness. Certifications that I mentioned previously does not need GPA threshold. They reward initiative, not the certifications. Column three is the last is important also for those asking what it takes to work in GCC. They want in GCC they want engineers with real project exposures. Unfortunately, I have to be realistic here. For fresh graduates, it's not the ideal market, and you may not get always the good opportunities. This is true today. So we highly encourage to get an experience, because in this market, many of the organization require and want real project exposure. the fastest path to the GCC is credible local experience first in Pakistan, regardless of the company, whatever is it, 2 to 3 years documented, then a strong GCC application with certification. And I can assure you, combining your certification, minimum 2 to 3 years practical experience on the ground, you are definitely going to qualify, inshallah, uh, if you just put your efforts on the ground. So every engineer you admire in sustainability had a first day. I mean, all the successful leaders you see in LinkedIn and our senior leaders, they also went through the same stage where you are in. Um, so what they did differently was decided to start today. They started taking action. And this is the most important thing. Take an action. Start from now. Why to wait for tomorrow? Why to not do what in my control? And then God help us. It's not just leaving it on the circumstances that only I will move when I get an ideal job. No, it's our responsibility. It's not just about money or something. It's about the pride. We have to feel proud of our parents and the family who have been looking at us that my son, my brother, my daughter will get graduated and become engineer. It's our responsibility. We have been supported long years. For us, getting degree is not enough. I see it's a start for you. Just go, as Iqbal Saab also mentioned at the start. Be passionate, do hard work. This is in your control. This is what you can do. And this require motivation. Platforms like Sena, we all are doing this effort to share our knowledge, to encourage you. We are here to support Akash and the amazing team. And this is why I was so impressed when I saw what Sena is doing. Mr. Iqbal is there. He's more, mashallah, dynamic and motivated than us. And let's take the benefit of all these inspiration leaders and open up, speak up. I would final note from my side: just don't feel shy to reach out to anyone. Be confident. Do your job first. Educate skill level development. Keep growing yourself. Keep making active yourself. Instead of using TikTok, I prefer to use LinkedIn more. Of course, entertainment is important also, but for you, let's make yourself, your family, and our Sindh more proud on you. Thank you for now. I'm open to the question. Akash, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nasir Ali. Nasir Ali असांजा जेके की नोट स्पीकर हुआ ऐं ॾाढा टैलेंटेड ऐं पंहिंजी फील्ड में एक्सपर्ट आहिनि। असां ही सेशन छो शुरू कयो या ही टॉपिक छो सेलेक्ट कयो उन जे बारे में असांखे ॿुधायूं। ही टॉपिक छो ज़रूरी आहे उन जे बारे में असांखे ॿुधायूं। उन जॉब सां रिलेटेड जेके बि शयूं हुयूं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू मिडल ईस्ट यूएस या ॿियनि कंट्रीज़ में ऐं स्पेशली हाउ दिस इज़ गोइंग टू अफेक्ट और बीइंग हेल्पफुल इन फ्यूचर। त जेके इंजीनियर्स आहिनि उन्हनि खे ॿुधाइण लाइ जेके स्पेशली जेके फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट्स आहिनि या अंडर ग्रेजुएट आहिनि उन्हनि खे त ही उन्हनि खे कहिड़े कहिड़े तरीक़े सां हेल्प कंदो अॻियां फ्यूचर में। ही उन्हनि टॉपिक्स मां हिकु आहे जेके फ्यूचर में ॾाढा इंपॉर्टेंट थियण वारा आहिनि या थी चुका आहिनि। नासिर अली तव्हांजो तमामु वॾी महिरबानी। आउं हिते इहो ॿुधाईंदो हलां त असां ऑलरेडी थोरो लेट थी चुका आहियूं। कोशिशि कंदासीं Q&A जो सेशन जेको आहे उहो थोरो ब्रीफ रखूं। असां वटि काफ़ी सारा सवाल आया आहिनि, काफ़ी सारा दोस्त आहिनि जेके असांखे ॿुधनि पिया। उन्हनि हिते असांखे चैट में बि सवाल मोकिलिया आहिनि ऐं असांखे गूगल में। सभिनी दोस्तनि खे रिक्वेस्ट इहो आहे त असां हिकिड़ो गूगल फॉर्म आहे उनखे तव्हां फिल कयो। उनजो लिंक असां तव्हांखे मोकिलींदासीं त जेके बि असांजा फ्यूचर या प्रोग्राम्स आहिनि, सेशंस आहिनि, वेबिनार्स आहिनि, उन्हनि में जी इंफॉर्मेशन तव्हां वटि ऑटोमेटिकली पहुचाए छॾींदासीं। असां तव्हांखे कोशिशि कंदासीं जेके SMEs आहिनि उन्हनि सां कनेक्ट कयूं। जेके तव्हांखे बेसिक सवाल आहिनि उहे उन्हनि जा सवालनि जा जवाब वठी ॾियूं उन्हनि खां। त जीअं असांजी हिकिड़ी कनेक्टिविटी थी वञे SMEs ऐं असांजे इंजीनियर्स जे विच में, कंहिं बि स्टेज ते जेके इंजीनियर्स आहिनि उन जे विच में। उन लाइ इहो ज़रूरी आहे त उहा जेको असांजो फॉर्म आहे सेना जो जंहिंमें बेसिक सवाल आहिनि उहे तव्हां फिल कयो त जीअं असां तव्हां वटि पहुची सघूं। इन सेशन जे दौरान काफ़ी दोस्तनि तमामु सुठा सुठा ॻाल्हियूं लिखियूं। ख़ासि तौर पे फैसल सिद्दीकी साहब जेके तमामु इम्प्रेसिंग सवाल ऐं कमेंट कया, उन जी महिरबानी। हिन सेशन खे कामयाबु करण लाइ असांजो इंजीनियर हबीब मेमन जेको असांजो इंफॉर्मेशन सेक्रेटरी बि आहे असां जो, उन जी तमामु वॾी महिरबानी जेको असां सां गॾु रहियो। मुस्लिम बुद्धी साहब जेको इन खे सेशन खे कंट्रोल पियो करे, उन जी वॾी महिरबानी। ऐं ॿिया दोस्त हाणे नासिर साहब तव्हां खां सवाल करण खां पहिरीं मुंहिंजा जेके पहिरीं जेके सवाल आहिनि विद रिस्पेक्ट टू जेके फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट्स आहिनि सो व्हाट इज द सिंगल मूव दे कैन डू टुमारो सो ऑन दिस टॉपिक सो इहो थोरो असांखे ॿुधायो त ऐं कोशिशि कजो जेके जेतिरो जवाबु ब्रीफ थी सघे ओतिरो सही आहे त जीअं असां दोस्तनि जो टाइम वधीक न वठूं नासिर साहब तव्हांजी आवाज़ अचे
Now unmute. Now it's unmute. Actually, you mute the hello. Yes, Akash. For fresh graduates, I mean, as I mentioned, Akash, पेरों त सभिनी खां पहिरियों जेके free sources available आहिनि उन्हनि खे रीच आउट कजे. फॉर एग्जांपल फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट खे असां सजेस्ट कयोसीं त सर्टिफाइड एनर्जी मैनेजर जेको सर्टिफिकेशन आहे मोस्ट इम्पैक्टफुल ग्लोबली उनखे टारगेट करे उनजी स्टडी गाइड AEE जी वेबसाइट खां डाउनलोड करे अॼु राति खां स्टडी करणु शुरू कयो. उहो फ्री डॉक्यूमेंट आहे. उहो तव्हांखे क्लैरिटी ॾींदो त ही CM सर्टिफिकेशन आहे छा, कहिड़ा चैप्टर्स आहिनि, कहिड़ा टॉपिक्स आहिनि, ऐं इन पैरेलल LinkedIn जेके fellows not on the LinkedIn establish their account and update their headline, for example, त जिते तव्हां एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी सस्टेनेबिलिटी खे टेक करे सघो था, जिते तव्हां फॉलो करे सघो था, then apply targeting any one FM company or MEP contractor or subcontractor company in your city or in major cities anywhere in Pakistan. I mean, these three actions cost nothing and take some hours maybe, but do them before this week end. So this is my suggestion to the fresh graduates. A lot of material is available. First is decide your track. I give an example of certified energy manager, rewarding job after the certification and some. So start doing knowledge awareness and then LinkedIn and then of course join a company. Don't just wait home back, please.
Thank you, Nasir Saab. The most easiest thing, like you said, that everybody has a phone, so they can just go into internet and start getting those free information. Second question, like mid-career range, like the person who has 8 to 10 years of experience, and if he or she feels stuck in career, so and if they want to go towards sustainability, how to pivot without starting from zero?
Yeah, Akash. So again, important question. I पाण कोशिश कई से त mixed audience जे लाइ जेको cover कयो topic, but I'm also very much interested त जेके colleagues ऐं friends आहिनि in a call में जेके 8 to 10 years or let's say 5+ year of experience. The good thing is that असां zero खां शुरू न कंदासीं. If I'm on your place, it's about redirecting. As Akash before mentioned and Iqbal, what दुनिया काथे थी वञे वो फोकस करे जेके ग्लोबल ट्रेंड सां शेयर कयासीं. Take your existing domain and ask where does sustainability intersect with it. If you are a mechanical engineer, you have to see if you have experience in, let's say, in mechanical system, then you have to identify the sustainability में तव्हां किथे link था कयो. If you're electrical power system engineer, then that's grid efficiency and demand response. You already have that knowledge and MEP designer. So you don't change what you know. You have to capitalize on what you already know and then add a sustainability lens to it, I would say more. Because as I said, what is energy sustainability from technical point of view, electromechanical system, anything and everything that is consuming energy, you already have the knowledge of that. Even if it's civil engineers, for you also, this is very good aspect of thermal management system, thermal system of the building envelope and all, many things in the construction industry. So then get one certification, and this is very important for people in the mid-career. Certification is super critical. Get certificate, CEM, LEED, ISO 50001, pick the one closest to your current work, and then target those targeted companies and organization. And for you, there is definitely great opportunities. Only matter of putting a lens and a cap of something like I am the decarbonization solution specialist instead of calling yourself as electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, commissioning engineer. So change your cap, and the world is open for you.
Nasir, in continuation to the same question, like you already explained for mid-career, what about the like seniors, like having 20 to 30 years? Like, is it too late for them to start, or like how?
You mean
The person like
you
me,
mean you
as young as like 40s, in 40s.
you mean you and me, huh? Can you hear me? Okay. So I mean, this is again an interesting way. Not only for us is people like us, it's not too late. You have an advantage. Younger engineers don't have that. What is that? That is credibility. That is real project history. That is your network. That is your knowledge of the industry. And the market doesn't need just sustainability engineers. It needs sustainability leaders, people who can drive strategy, manage clients, and mentor and supervise the teams. Now, that requires exactly the experience we all have. The question is not whether to start, it is how to reframe what you have and already built on. So, capitalizing on whatever you have and then moving to that, because as I said, it's not only for fresh and sustainability energy engineers. There are organizations need people who have the ability to head a team, a project, a senior people who are more expected to be more responsible or mature enough. So definitely there are opportunities for people like us, as you said, senior engineers, Akash.
अमेज़िंग, अमेज़िंग एटलीस्ट मूंखे होप मिली वई त आउं बि अगरि चाहियां त सस्टेनेबिलिटी जी तरफ़ वञी सघां थो। नासिर तव्हांखे या मुस्लिम ॿुधी तव्हां ॿिन्ही मां अगरि को लिंक शेयर करणु चाहे गूगल शीट जो हिते so that people can go and fill up their information so that we can send them त असांजा जेके बि दोस्त हिते ॿुधनि पिया असां उन्हनि खे स्लाइड्स मोकिलींदासीं हिन जी रिकॉर्डिंग मोकिलींदासीं हिन पूरे सेशन जी त जीअं फ्यूचर में हुनखे रिवाइंड करे ॾिसी वठनि। सेकेंडली असांजा जेके सना जा सोशल मीडिया जा जेके पेजिस आहिनि फेसबुक एक्स यूट्यूब उते ही लाइव हली रहियो आहे उते ऐं उहा रिकॉर्डिंग उते पई हूंदी। तव्हां कंहिं वक़्तु बि वञी सना जे सोशल मीडिया ते तव्हां हिन पूरी रिकॉर्डिंग खे ॾिसी सघो था। ऐं उन खां पोइ हाणे असां वटि कुझु स्टूडेंट्स जा ॾाढा इंट्रस्टिंग सुवाल आया आहिनि ऐं मूंखे ॾाढी ख़ुशी थी आहे त जेके उन इन यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ंदे बि एॾा इंट्रस्टिंग एॾा ज़बरदस्त सवाल करे सघनि था। काफ़ी अहिड़ा सवाल हुआ जिन जा जवाब ऑलरेडी असां प्रेज़ेंटेशन जे दौरान ॾेई चुका आहियूं किथे न किथे पर वरी बि हिकिड़ो सवाल आहे Kamran Ali Jo, I just want to, agar briefly, if you can answer that, what are the future skills?
Exactly, Akash. Important question as I was trying to cover in my slide. हाणे मेन शइ इहा आहे त thinking from future engineers requirements and the demand. As I mentioned before, टे शयूं आहिनि that जेके that works together, I would say, like strong technical foundation in your discipline. This is number one, of course. Digital fluency about data, IoT analytics, sustainability literacy, meaning you understand energy, carbon, and efficiency. None of these alone is enough. So technology, as I said at the start of my presentation, is an enabler. That knowledge is super critical and fundamental. Then understanding how this is helping to achieve some goals or objective and resolving the challenges and the problems. So the engineers who combine all three, literacy and about certifications and all, are so those are the only engineers who become leaders, not just engineers. And with respect to the engineer profession, energy engineers is a profession, but leadership is like uh, a role in the job functions that we count in. So start building all three now, even gradually.
Thank you. Zulfikar Ali पूछे तो skills required for future engineers and what are the requirements for electrical engineers in Middle East? मुझे ख्याल में असां इन ते ऑलरेडी ॻाल्हाए चुका आहियूं। आकिब अज़ीज़ पूछे तो career pathways in sustainability, which path should I take? असां इन सवाल जो जवाब ॾेई चुका आहियूं। असां जेके टे स्लाइड्स हुन में ॾिनियूं ट्रैक्स जेके आहिनि उहे सॼो डिटेल्स में थी चुका आहिनि। मुदसिर हुसैन पूछे थो इन एन इंटरव्यू डज कॉन्फिडेंस मैटर मोर और टेक्निकल स्किल्स? इफ यू कैन ब्रीफली आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन प्लीज।
Exactly, Akash. A very good question. I mean, when we are talking about the professional growth, is definitely require your other skills and confidence, the communication skills, and also I would say to answer your question, confidence matters, of course, and I not just limit the uh, your personal skills and the confidence. There are other things as well. You are presentable and communication skill and all. So to me, technical and personal skills both are important, but in different ways. Technical skills, for example, get you shortlisted. You may get your CV shortlisted, but what will happen next? Confidence gets you hired. The way you present yourself, the way you behave yourself in the interview, for example, especially if I talk about GCC countries. Employees are looking for engineers who can communicate their value clearly. They know what they are doing. They know how they will help their organization, for example, not just solve the problem or project deliverables, but the wider picture as well. The best preparation is knowing your subject well enough, I would say, and that is enough to explain it simply during the interview. And that definitely is a definition of a confidence, that you know in and out, and you know uh, the whole closed loop of the subject. So when you genuinely understand something, confidence follows you naturally. So to me, both are important, Akash.
Thank you. There's a question from Fakir Athar Ali. Is there any possible opportunity for low GPA student to get a job abroad?
Absolutely, yes, Akash. And I say this with full confidence. GPA opens some doors, but does not define your ceiling, your reach, especially in GCC market. What employers actually want is relevant skill certification. By the way, I'm not um, discounting GPA. Definitely is important, and I want my son also to have his GPA amazing. But it's not the limit, as I want to highlight here. There are okay, you end up with a not very attractive GPA. Then what next? Let's look forward and develop your skills, your certification, demonstrate your project experience, your personal development skills, and then, for example, the CEM or energy audit project on your CV, you have done on a small level even in Pakistan. It carries far more weight and value than your low GPA with nothing practical behind it. So focus on building your portfolio and credentials, have practical experience, then forget GPA. I would say in that stage, that's what travels across borders, your skills and your credentials.
Akash,
Thank
may
you.
I add something from a life experience? Share that with my friends here.
सर
That you
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल पर उनखां पहिरीं अगर हिकिड़ो सवाल मूंखे तव्हां खां पुछण ॾियो ही
हा
सवाल असां वटि आयो आहे आशिक अली जे तरफ़ खां ऐं
जी जी
इन जो जवाब मुंहिंजे ख़्याल में तव्हां खां पुछिजे त वधीक बहितर आहे
जी
हाउ
जी
कैन इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर अलाइन देमसेल्फ विथ एआई
हा हा
तव्हां
हा
एआई में हीअं रिसेंटली कयो आहे त मूंखे लॻे थो इहो तव्हां सां वधीक रेलिवेंट आहे सवाल
It's very easy. It's really not that tough. Uh, there are so many courses. I mean, you go on YouTube, forget about anything else. You go on YouTube, and there are tons and tons of videos on AI, the basics of AI. That's the best place to start. Once you have arms around what AI is, what does it stand for, and how it addresses a lot of issues and challenges of the century, then you can take a next step. You will feel confident. Then you can take there are a lot of free courses, and one of these days I would be happy to do the presentation on how to get your foot in the door as far as the AI is concerned. So there are a lot of free courses on Google, IBM. They offer those courses. Take them. Coursera is a great source. Go take those courses. Yeah, Nasir Ali has been emphasizing on skills development. Skills development, the continuous lifelong process. So learning because you will be out of market. So that's the best place to start. So once you get there, then I'm sure one of us can help you and guide you how to get the certifications. Marketability increased. You have to be something different. You have to offer a value to the employer. That's a good segue. Just think employment jo taluka hai, jeke areas, Nasir Ali. First of all, thank you so much, Nasir, for such a wonderful contribution. Appreciate this so much. And I'm thankful to all the youth and everybody else who has joined this. There's one thing I would like to request. Baba ta sabhi meherbani kare. Next asanjo session ahe pajo computing te jeko asanjo Dr. Gul Agha जेको आहे उहो पेश कंदो सो उन जे बारे में तव्हां सां शेयर कंदासूं असीं क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग ते वॾी ज़बरदस्त ब्रांच आहे सो वी विल शेयर द इंफॉर्मेशन विद यू पर तव्हां खां हिकिड़ी गुज़ारिश आहे का बि क़ौम तरक़ी नथी करे सघे बिना औरत जे पार्टिसिपेशन जे 50% तव्हां खणी असीं सभई मेल्स जेके आहिनि उहे आसमान ते पहुची वञूं पर जेकॾहिं 50% ऑफ पॉपुलेशन इज़ नॉट विथ अस इनखे तरक़ी न चइबो मूंखे जी ख़्वाहिश हुई त असांजूं न्याणियूं जेके आहिनि असांजूं धीअरूं उहे बि हिन सेशन खे में जॉइन कंदियूं पर मां ख़ुशि न आहियां छाकाणि जो मां उनजी परसेंटेज कोन थो ॾिसां सो तव्हां सभिनी खे गुज़ारिश आहे त नेक्स्ट सेशन में पंहिंजनि कॉलीग्स खे जेके तव्हांजूं कॉलीग्स आहिनि उन्हनि खे ॿुधायो पंहिंजो इंप्रेशन जेको कुझु तव्हां सिखियो आहे and bring them to this participation. This is free. So that would be a great help. जेकॾहिं तव्हांखे कहिड़ी बि जॻह ते एम्प्लॉयमेंट खपे तव्हांजा स्किल्स सर्टिफिकेशन ज़बरदस्त पर do you know about that potential employer? That's a key. उनखां सवाइ तव्हांखे जॉब कोन मिलंदी know what the pain points are. रिसर्च कयो पंहिंजे पोटेंशियल एम्प्लॉयर खे त उनजी फील्ड छा आहे उनजी ग्रोथ छा आहे उन जूं सक्सेस फैक्टर्स छा आहिनि हू किथे पहुता आहिनि ऐं कीअं पहुता आहिनि जॾहिं तव्हां इंटरव्यू में वञो त यू शुड नो मोस्ट अबाउट दैट कंपनी बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट दे वुड लव टू हियर एंड वंस यू नो दैट the best thing that I have been using in my lifetime, I interview the interviewer. You take the charge once you know about the company and everything else. You interview the interviewer. That's the best way of getting the job. So, guzarish ye hai, potential employers ke identify karo, line of your specialization unko consolidate karo, and know more about your employer and demonstrate that you are knowledgeable, you know their mission, and you are with them, and you will support them. That's the best way of getting a job.
Thank you, Saeed. Thank you very much, Barmi. Our next question ho Adi Rakshanda Mahar Khan, career pathways and sustainability. We already have answered that question. There is a question from Rizwan, skills required for future engineers, especially for Gulf countries. We already have answered that question. There is a question from Ahmad Ali. How important is CGPA versus practical skills? And what skills are needed for Gulf countries? Asake be ke dost bhi yo exactly sagyo sawal ke ho. We already have answered that question. उनके अलावा समीर अली जो क्वेश्चन हो कंप्लीट रोड मैप after our graduation, we already have answered these questions. I hope you have gone through that slide. And finally, how it benefits to my career. तहाँ मुझे ख्याल में अगर स्लाइड ॾिठी हूंदी तव्हांखे न्यू आंसर मिली वियो हूंदो. Rehan Rashid said, asking, I want to know about what is the modern technology in ESS energy storage system. If you can briefly answer to this question.
Yes, Akash. Uh, of course, very important aspect, especially if I talk about the GCC countries, the energy storage system is one of the most exciting areas in engineering right now. If I say modern technologies, including lithium-ion battery storage used in grid scale and building applications, flow batteries or long duration, thermal energy storage for cooling and heating loads. So definitely there's a huge demand here. A lot of development is happening in this domain. And if we specifically talk about GCC context, battery storage paired with solar PV is growing very rapidly. For engineers, understanding how ESS, the energy storage system, integrates with smart grids and building energy management system is most practical and career relevant angle to pursue. What I mean by this is, again, the same approach. Knowing ESS is not enough, but integrating it with wider system, with a smart grid integration, for example, then it becomes definitely a valuable domain to grow and build your skills and experience.
There's a question from Muhammad Salim. As an electrical automation student, what specific skills and tools should I start learning for today? Sustainable energy and smart system. So he need more clarity on
I
electrical
think,
and automation side.
yeah, Akash, I think he's on the right lane. You are on the right lane, I would say, because you are electrical and focusing on automation. This is how I also started. Focus on these three layers, as I mentioned. I would say, like in technical, energy auditing, BMS, SCADA, power systems. In digital, data analytics, IoT basics, and of course, Power BI, Excel, and this credential. And then, of course, start with CEM or ISO 50001 awareness. This is relevant to you, by the way. Smart systems and clean energy are the biggest hiring areas in the GCC right now. Your automation background is a genuine advantage, I would say.
Okay. There is a question from Farhad Zaman. What are the skills for electrical engineers in power sectors today? We already have answered that question. There's a question from Mohammed Salih, Kaif Ali Arai. I want to learn about PLC and control. How do I get job in and build future on it?
Yeah, again, related to technology, important aspect, I would say your interest in technical capabilities is important. Now, talking about the PLC or automation system, exactly the kind of skill that open doors for you in the sustainability domain, sustainable energy, smart buildings. You may start with Siemens, SAV, and Allen Bradley basics, for example, pair it with SCADA knowledge, and connect it to energy management system. Now that combination now is in very high demand. It has been and it will remain, of course, especially about the large infrastructures, a lot of substations and large facilities, giga project expansion. There are hundreds of buildings in one district, for example. So your age is using automation is to drive efficiency. That's the sustainability in action.
असां काफ़ी टाइम ओवर थी चुको आहे 40 मिनट्स वधीक थी विया आहिनि असांखे जल्दी सेशन ख़तमु करिणो आहे पर मुंहिंजे ख़्याल में अगरि जेके बि ऑडियंस आहिनि इन ऑडियंस मां अगरि असां 5 सवाल करे वठूं नासिक साहब अगरि टाइम हुजे साईं इकबाल तरीन साहब इजाज़त आहे सिर्फ़ु 5 सवाल करे
Absolutely.
वठो छो जो टाइम
Absolutely.
वधीक थी वियो आहे ऐं सभिनी जो टाइम इम्पोर्टेंट आहे वी रिस्पेक्ट देयर टाइम अगरि को दोस्त जेको हिते वेठो आहे ऐं उहो पंहिंजो हथु मथे करे अगरि को सवाल आहे तव्हां रिएक्ट में वञी करे उते तव्हां वञी सवाल पुछण लाइ हथ मथे कयो त तव्हांखे अनम्यूट कंस आला मुस्लिम तव्हां ॾिसिजो अगरि को हथ रेस करे थो द फर्स्ट इज़ नज़ाकत अली ही हैज़ रेस द हैंड अगरि तव्हां नज़ाकत अली खे अनम्यूट कयो त सवाल पुछी वठे
ओके अदा नज़ाकत अली
नज़ाकत अली
अदा नज़ाकत अली तव्हां पंहिंजो माइक अनम्यूट कयो
एनी अदर पार्टिसिपेंट मुंहिंजे ख्याल में नज़ाकत अली सां असां कनेक्ट कोन पिया थी सघूं पर हुननि जेको क्वेश्चन हिते लिखियो आहे त हाउ अ फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट गेट अ जॉब एंटर अब्रॉड what are the possibilities to get and always we have listened that it must be 2 to 3 years of experience without experience you can never get any job in the Middle East is it so or why is it possible not answer if you can answer Nasir.
Yeah, I mean, Akash, let us not underestimate. I mean, there is always some job opportunity. There is, I would refer and I encourage to look target, as I said earlier, the companies in operation in our country, in bigger cities, even if it is a small company, no issue, because as a fresh graduate, it's really challenging for you to get an opportunity only with a degree. And I would refer here also why keep saying this. So either it is Saudi Arabia, UAE, and all these countries is running this nationalization, Saudization, Emiratization campaigns and initiatives where they encourage and promote more of their fresh graduates. So definitely this one challenge. Second challenge is fresh graduates. Um, I mean, you are being hired to deliver something for the organization. So theoretical knowledge will not be enough to help you in that. I would still encourage you to remain optimistic. Looks for any opportunity comes in front of you, even if it is a small subcontracting company doing electrical installation, for example. Let us, I will share my story. When I graduated, I worked in this textile mill as an assistant technician, for example. We used to clean the spinning unit, industrial high grade industrial motors, for example, and then slowly, gradually, we got. I understand there are challenges in Pakistan. I will still encourage you just take an experience, regardless of the size and the of that organization. And this is the only way I would say you can come. I'm not this. I'm sharing with my experience. There may be some people getting opportunities as fresh graduate. Let's not discount that, but we are sharing with you the practical experience, the best practices. Let us remain optimistic. Start your practical experience 2 to 3 years in Pakistan, then doors are open for you.
Akash,
Thank you. असां
internship
हिकिड़ो
is an
ॾाढो
option. Internship is an option. Depend थो
Yeah.
करे त नौजवान किथे थो रहे. जेकॾहिं कराची में थो रहे या हैदराबाद में थो रहे त he should offer his free services to the potential employer. त मां जेको आहे उहो internship मूंखे ॾियो जेकॾहिं अफोर्ड करे सघे त. Internship is the best place to start if you have absolutely no experience.
True.
असां वटि हिकिड़ो इंटरेस्टिंग हिकिड़ो ॾाढो ज़बरदस्त कमेंट आयो आहे ऐं काफ़ी दोस्तनि खां इहो कमेंट आयो आहे त छा तव्हां हिन सेशन जो सर्टिफिकेट ॾींदो असां डेफिनेटली इन ते सोचींदासीं ऐं इफ नॉट फॉर दिस विल डेफिनेटली ट्राई टू क्रिएट सम सिस्टम ऑनलाइन कुझु अहिड़ो कंदासीं त जीअं तव्हांखे फ्यूचर आहे जेके बि आहिनि उन्हनि जो थी सघे पर अगेन असांखे इहो वरी असांजी कमेटी में डिस्कस करिणो आहे ऐं उन खां पोइ असां तव्हांखे ॿुधाईंदासीं बट इट्स समथिंग वेरी मच डूएबल ऐं डेफिनेटली मुंहिंजो वोट उन लाइ यस हूंदो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन आहे असां वटि रिज़वान अली जे लाइ तरफ़ खां सर देयर इज एज एन इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर कैन फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट डू आयोश और निबोश certifications are these useful for getting job in Middle East?
I would say yes, but not completely as a focused area, because there are hundreds and thousands of people we see getting the Bosch certification because they got an impression there are a lot of opportunities. As an engineer, I would encourage you not to just rely upon these particular certifications, but they definitely will be helpful for you as a package of skills and certifications for you definitely will help. But don't just let yourself depend only on this particular aspect because there are a lot of people doing there who are not engineers. They are getting the certifications, and your role is not just particularly on this HSE aspect, but you should target on more impactful and wider role.
Thank you. Very interesting question. Where can engineering professional in Pakistan access CEM HSE course online or offline? अदा तव्हांखे इहो असां बार बार हिन कोर्स में ॿुधायो आहे ऐं वरी ॿुधायूं था इहे सभु शयूं ऑनलाइन मौजूदु आहिनि ऐं ऑनलाइन तव्हां करे सघो था इहे सभु शयूं यूट्यूब ते आहिनि फ्री में आहिनि कोर्सेरा ते आहिनि या मुख़्तलिफ़ आहिनि ऐं मुख़्तलिफ़ रिसोर्सिस तव्हांखे ॿुधाए विया आहिनि हिन प्रेज़ेंटेशन जे दौरान जिते तव्हां वञी ॾिसी सघो था नासिर
Yeah, I will add here, Akash. There is AWE local chapter in Pakistan that is offering the CEM official 5 days training or face to face. If anybody can reach out, I can connect you with them. But as you said, Akash, for you to start, at least get an awareness. What is CEM exactly? And do this free course, free document available, so resources available. And then if you are really interested, anybody to do the CEM certification, staying in Pakistan, there are some companies and agencies that I can connect you with, and they can support you to get specifically for CEM.
Thank you. There is no such option available.
इहो मुमकिन आहे जो पाण फ्यूचर में ईमेल जेका आहे सेना जे तरफ़ां ईमेल एड्रेस शेयर कयूं जंहिंमें नौजवान जेके आहिनि पंहिंजा क्वेश्चन्स या पंहिंजा थॉट्स असां सां शेयर करे सघनि फ्यूचर में इनखे तव्हां गौर
साईं
कजो।
बिल्कुलु असां इहो सिस्टम हिन सेशन लाइ बि ठाहियो आहे ऐं हिन में असां वटि 20 खां वधीक क्वेश्चन्स जेके आहिनि उन सिस्टम जे थ्रू आया आहिनि ऐं असां हिकिड़ो डेटाबेस क्रिएट पिया
25,
कयूं
yeah.
उन डेटाबेस में असां सभिनी उते जेके बि इंट्रस्टेड आहिनि उन्हनि खे कम्युनिकेट करे सघंदासीं बल्क में ऐं उनखे असां ऑटोमेट करण जी कोशिशि पिया कयूं त इहो सॼो सिस्टम असां ऑटोमेट करे वठंदासीं नासिर साहिब जी वॾी महिरबानी आहे असांखे इन पूरे सिस्टम में हेल्प पियो करे असां वटि 2 आख़िरी सवाल आहिनि हिकिड़ो शाहज़मान जतोई जो आहे there is no such option available but sir kindly tell us what's the role of mechatronics engineers in sustainability.
I can definitely relate, and it's challenging time and not much option available in Pakistan. We understand that, but as I said, let us remain optimistic and do our best, whatever in our hand, and leave the result on God. From mechatronics engineering point of view, I would still say target automation companies, target some companies who are into this automation business or the projects, for example, or you can target some large industrial organizations. Oil and gas is not much that much in Pakistan, and I don't also have recent information what's going on in the last few years. But I would say, for my suggestion for mechatronics engineer, your target should be high-end industrial sector. Not buildings, of course. If you want to really grow into this domain, high-end industrial sector should be your target. that will give you opportunities also in GCC.
Thank you, Nasir Saab. Last question from Siraj. Go ahead,
जी
Siraj.
पहिरीं त महिरबानी अदा नासिर ऐं आकाश ऐं साईं इक़बाल तरीन मुस्लिम जिन बि सेशन कोऑर्डिनेट कयो इज़ अ वेरी गुड अवेयरनेस सेशन मुंहिंजो इनफैक्ट क्वेश्चन स्लैश कॉमेंट आहे जेका आहे न बिकॉज आई सी मोस्ट ऑफ द जूनियर या स्टूडेंट्स आहिनि या दे कमिंग फ्रेश आउट ऑफ द स्कूल त कॉमेंट इहो आहे त या मैसेज इहो आहे पोइ मे बी अदा नासिर कैन एड फर्दर ऑन इट त जेके इंजीनियरिंग जा बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स आहिनि न when it comes to sustainable projects and whatnot, they are highly intact. जीअं अदा नासिर चयो 70%, but I would say in some cases it's more than 80%. You shouldn't forget the basics. Whether you are an electrical, mechanical, or civil, but engineering जा जेके principles आहिनि न they will remain same. ऐं उहा जेका knowledge आहे it will remain intact. However, हाणे जेको when it comes to these जेके certifications आहिनि पोइ once you त इहो चवण त भई हाणे I want to get into these projects. For example, building जो system आहे को या even जेके oil and gas जा project आहिनि उन में carbon capture projects आहिनि या what not. त जेके उहे डिज़ाइन थींदा न उहे उन्हनि में इंजीनियरिंग प्रिंसिपल्स आर सेम पर ऑब्वियसली उन में इनहेंस जेके स्पेक्स ऐं स्टैंडर्ड्स हूंदा या जेके प्रोटोकॉल्स हूंदा सस्टेनेबिलिटी या उहे जेके आहिनि उहे उन्हनि जी नॉलेज ओवर द टाइम तव्हांखे मिलंदी त गेटिंग एक्सपीरियंस फ्रॉम योर रेस्पेक्टिव फील्ड is the first and the most important thing, number one. Number two, पोइ वरी इहो lots of literatures are available. त इहा शइ जेका आहे उहा it comes in parallel. अदा नासिर ईअं आहे
100%. I echo what you said, Abhi. This is you asked question kind of emphasize the case, especially for the fresh graduates and students. Do first thing first. I mean, necessary to practice and get practical experience, on ground experience, in whatever domain you are. तव्हां बेहतरीन फ्रेज कयो आहे हुनखे मां सिर्फ़ु हुन में इहो एड कंदुमि त हिकिड़ो आहे कॉन्सेप्ट theoretical that we have learned a lot of formulas. Reality में there are hundreds of things that we don't know. Even I am the faculty holder number one in my class in my degree, but when we go to the practical life, real life, there are so many things we never even thought about it. So super critical is immediately after graduation, as Akbal Tareen Saab also mentioned, if you're not finding a job, do internship, apprenticeship, just go and see the real systems face to face. I mean, the things that we have been looking into your books and literatures, experience them as an engineer. Go and just touch and feel the industrial environment, for example, and practice those concepts and knowledge and things on the ground, and then you will have it solid strength that is called experience. The theoretical knowledge is not an experience. I personally believe into is half of the equation. So I echo Habibai what you said, and thanks, and I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you, Ada Siraj. Thank you, Nasir. In the end, असांजा जेके मंथली वेबिनार सीरीज़ आहे उन जे बारे में थोरो वधीक असांखे तफ़सील ॿुधाइण लाइ आऊं इनवाइट कंदुसि असां मुस्लिम बुर्दी खे जेको असांखे ब्रीफली नेक्स्ट सेशन जे बारे में ऐं ॿिया जेके सेशन्स असां प्लान कया आहिनि उन जे बारे में कुझु ॿुधाए. ओवर टू यू मुस्लिम बुर्दी.
Thank you, Ada Akash and Ada Nasir. Tamam Zabardast presentation. Sai Iqbal Saab, thank you for you also. Ada, सभिनी खां पहिरियां त मूंखे तमामु घणी ख़ुशी आहे त साना जेका आहे साना जी कमेटी सेना उन हिकिड़ी ज़बरदस्त वेबिनार सीरीज़ डेवलप कई आहे जेका थ्रू आउट द ईयर 2026 जी आहे ऐं उन में मुख़्तलिफ़ टॉपिक्स आहिनि. अदा आकाश जेकॾहिं तव्हां ॾेखारे सघो उहा PDF फाइल मां तव्हांखे सेंड कयो आहे जेकॾहिं हिन में ॾेखारे सघो स्क्रीन ते त वॾी महिरबानी थींदी. नेक्स्ट जेको असांजो वेबिनार आहे जीअं अदा साईं इक़बाल तरीन साहब ऑलरेडी मेंशन करे चुका आहिनि कंप्यूटर रिलेटेड आहे क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग which will be held on April I think it's on 18th April on Saturday, which will be our speaker will be Sain Dr. Golaga, who is living in the United States for so many years. ऐं उन खां पोइ असांजा ॿिया खोड़ प्लैंड जेके मंथली बेसिस सेमिनार्स आहिनि उहे बि असां कंडक्ट कंदासीं। सो मां इहो दोस्तनि खे ॾेखारण थो चाहियां त हे जेके असांजी सीरीज़ आहिनि वेबिनार्स जी, इहा तव्हां हाणे खां ई पंहिंजा जेके कैलेंडर्स आहिनि मार्क करे रखो ऐं क्वेश्चन्स तयारु करे रखो, टफ क्वेश्चन्स जीअं तव्हां अॼु कया था नासिर खां। त ज़बरदस्त सेशन रहियो अॼु बि। ऐं हे जेके असांजी जेके नेक्स्ट सेशन्स आहिनि इन्हनि जे बारे में बि तव्हां क्वेश्चन कढी रखो। ऐं तव्हां वटि को टॉपिक आहे, सजेशन में आहे, को जेके ॿुधंदड़ आहिनि, को प्रोफेसर आहे, को डॉक्टर आहे, या को अॻियां अची करे एज़ ए स्पीकर थियणु चाहे थो, त असांखे ईमेल बि करे सघंदा, त जीअं असां नेक्स्ट उन्हनि खे बि लूप में रखी ऐं उन्हनि जो बि को सेशन करे सघूं। थैंक यू अदा आकाश, ओवर टू यू।
थैंक यू अदा मुस्लिम, तव्हांजी वॾी महिरबानी। तव्हां सभिनी दोस्तनि खे ॿुधायो असांजे जेके फ्यूचर प्लान्स आहिनि। असांजे काफ़ी अहिड़ियूं एक्टिविटीज़ आहिनि, काफ़ी अहिड़ियूं आहिनि शयूं जंहिंखां असां सभिनी खे आगाह कंदा रहंदासीं। सभ खां इम्पोर्टेंट आहे त जेको माण्हू असां सां गॾु शामिलु थियणु चाहे थो, उहो महिरबानी करे ही जेको फॉर्म असां एक्सेल ते ॾिनो आहे उनखे फिल कर, त जीअं तव्हां वटि वक़्तनि वक़्तु सभु इंफॉर्मेशन मिलंदी रहे ऐं तव्हां वटि नॉलेज ईंदी रहे। ऐं वंस अगेन तमामु घणो शुक्रगुज़ार आहियां नासिर अली साहब जो, जंहिं असांखे तमामु घणो वेल्यूएबल टाइम ॾिनो, असांखे नॉलेज ॾिनी, सभिनी खे एक्सप्लेन कयो हिन टॉपिक जे बारे में। ऐं शुक्रगुज़ार आहियां असांजो एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल सना जो मेंबर ऐं सना जो इंफॉर्मेशन सेक्रेटरी इंजीनियर हबीब मेमन, जेको महरान यूनिवर्सिटी जो इंजीनियर आहे। उन जी वॾी महिरबानी जेको जंहिं असांखे फैसिलिटेट कयो हिन सेशन जे लाइ, ऐं लाइव सेशन हलायो ऐं रिकॉर्डिंग पंहिंजे सोशल मीडिया ते रखंदो। आदा मुस्लिम बुर्दी साहब, तव्हांजी वॾी महिरबानी, तव्हां हिनखे जेको आहे कंट्रोल कयो ऐं तव्हां ॾाढे बहितरीन तरीक़े सां सेशन खे हलाइण में मदद कई असांजी। ॿिया जेके दोस्त जेके सेना जा बदरुद्दीन शेख या ॿिया जेके दोस्त जेके या सना जा जेके मेंबर हुआ, उन्हनि सभिनी दोस्तनि जी वॾी महिरबानी जेके अटेंड कयो। उहे स्टूडेंट्स जेके पूरी सिंध मां मुख़्तलिफ़ यूनिवर्सिटियुनि मां असां सां गॾु जुड़िया रहिया हिन पूरे सेशन जे दौरान, उन्हनि सभिनी जी वॾी महिरबानी। ऐं उन्हनि खे असां जे तरफ़ खां इहो चवंदासीं त असां हर वक़्तु तव्हां सां गॾु आहियूं। जेका बि इंफॉर्मेशन वग़ैरह जे सिलसिले में तव्हांजी वक़्तनि ब रहनुमाई खपंदी, असां हर वक़्तु तव्हां सां गॾु हूंदासीं। असां इहो तव्हांखे रिक्वेस्ट कयूं था त तव्हांजा जेके बि दोस्त आहिनि, क्लास फेलोज़ आहिनि, जीअं साईं इक़बाल तरीन साहब चयो त स्पेशली जेके फीमेल्स आहिनि 50% ऑफ आवर पॉपुलेशन, उन्हनि खे बि तव्हां उन्हनि खे गॾु खणी अचो। उन्हनि सभिनी अदलियनि खे बि हिते वठी अचो। उन्हनि जा बि जेके सवाल आहिनि जवाब आहिनि, या उन्हनि खे बि लर्निंग जो इक्वल मौक़ो ॾिनो वञे। तव्हां सभु काफ़ी दोस्तनि वटां इहो हिकिड़ो सुवाल आयो त छा इन्हनि सेशन जो सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ पार्टिसिपेशन मिलंदो। असां इन ते बिल्कुलु डिस्कस कंदासीं ऐं होपफुली असां इन ते को सोल्यूशन नेक्स्ट सेशन में असां आणींदासीं। ऐं असां कोशिशि कयूं पिया हिन सॼे प्रोसेस खे ऑटोमेट करण लाइ, त जीअं वधि खां वधि इहो सभु ऑटोमेट थी वञे ऐं ह्यूमन एफर्ट्स जेके आहिनि उहे घटि लॻनि थ्रू AI एंड डिफरेंट प्लेटफॉर्म्स। असां उन्हनि सभिनी टीचर्स या उन्हनि सभिनी एडमिन जा जेके यूनिवर्सिटी में आहिनि, मुख़्तलिफ़ यूनिवर्सिटियुनि में, जिन असांखे तमामु घणी मदद कई। तमामु काफ़ी अहिड़ा दोस्त हुआ जिन हिन सेशन जे बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन फैलाइण में असांजी उन्हनि मदद कई। ऐं ख़ासि तौर ते असांजो जेको प्रोफेसर आहे महरान यूनिवर्सिटी खैरपुर में शाकिर सुमर साहब, उनजो इंतिहा शुक्रगुज़ार आहियां। साईं सिकंदर अलमानी साहब आहे, या ॿिया काफ़ी अहिड़ा दोस्त आहिनि जिन असांजी माना उते फैसिलिटेट कयो। आख़िर में असांजो सेना कमेटी जो जेको चेयरपर्सन आहे साईं इक़बाल तरीन साहब, उन्हनि खे चवंदुसि त साईं सभिनी जो जो आहे हिन सेशन खे तव्हां फॉर्मली क्लोज कयो। त ऐं असां ऑलमोस्ट 2 कलाक करे चुका आहियूं। इट वॉज अमेजिंग having with you guys. साईं इक़बाल साईं, over to you and you can so that you can close this session.
मुझे ख़ुशी जी इंतहा आहे अॼु, ऐं तमामु घणो आई एम प्राउड त तव्हां जेको सॼी टीम असांजी आहे सेना जी, उनजी कंट्रीब्यूशन ऐं सना जी। पर सभ खां वॾी मूंखे ख़ुशी हिन ॻाल्हि जी थी आहे त एतिरे सुठे सिग्निफिकेंट नंबर में पार्टिसिपेंट्स जेके आहिनि उन्हनि असांखे अॼु शामिल थिया आहिनि। Thanks to you, Akash, and your friends and your colleagues who have made this happen. पर हाणे फ्यूचर में इन खां बि वधीक पार्टिसिपेशन थियणु खपे, ऐं दिस इज़ विन विन फॉर एवरीबॉडी। ऐं होपफुली असां तव्हांजे एक्सपेक्टेशन्स ते लहंदासूं हमेशह, ऐं इहो असांजो तव्हां सां प्रॉमिस आहे। ऐं थैंक यू सो मच, एंड विल सी यू अगेन in the third week of April. Mahrbani, G.A. Sindh. जियन सिंधी जिए सॼो जहान। महिरबानी।
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Mehrbani Sabni ji.